Call the Tuesday, December 3rd meeting to session. Roll call. Doug?
Here.
Mark?
Here.
Gary?
Here.
Barry?
Here.
Ellen?
Here.
Tom?
Here.
Jonathan? Here. Everyone's here. Take a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Who called it?
Let's do it right here.
Not Tom.
Oh,
Either way you wanna put it out.
Gary?
Paige.
Gary?
and then
Mark?
Mark, okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Any public comment? There is no public comment. Approving the secretary's report for September. Any questions on the secretary's report or comments? Take a motion to approve the secretary's report for the month of September. October?
November. I get it wrong.
One of those ones.
Many of them.
I so move.
I'll second.
So by Tom, seconded by Mark. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Treasurer's report, we're doing accounts payable and treasurer's report. Anything noteworthy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't, it's been. a
Anybody
while.
had any questions? Now's the time to bring them up, unless Heather had anything to mention.
Yeah, I just had one question. In the budget versus actuals for this year, the other supplies and expense.
Yeah. I'm working with CLA to fix that. Something got coded to the wrong.
Coded to the wrong. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Yep.
If there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Also move.
Moved by Mark,
Seconded.
seconded by Tom. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Chief's report. I don't see Chief Hollits, I'm assuming one of you.
He's on vacation right now in one of the Carolinas.
Call.
So I handed out the November monthly calls report. It's pretty much our given what we do pretty much every month. A lot more odor investigations with the colder weather. And people starting their furnaces up, people are starting to smell. They think they smell gas, and so we go and investigate it. Does anybody have any questions on the calls?
How long did you find the hunter?
Actually, by the time I was on call Friday night, and I got there and they had already found him. He had walked to a house. He had found his way out and had walked to a neighboring house and stuff. So,
Is it just supposed to mean less than last year?
I'm sorry, guys.
I assumed.
No, we had 30 calls, which was 3 more than this year. And so we're up 42 calls from last year.
2023 had 30.
Right,
It's more than
2023 had 30 calls.
More than 21 we had.
We had 21 this year, this month.
Yeah, alright.
So we're still up 42 calls for the year. I know, I don't know how.
No, you.
I've tried to write it. This last month, we participated in Christmas in the Village, so we brought Santa to town in the ladder truck, so he could meet with all the kids. Last night we had our annual, we call it Chop with Emergency Personnel, but we go bowling with the kids that sign up for the event, and so we go bowling and then eat pizza and then they go home with the presents.
Have a lot of very good turnout, or?
20 kids this year, so it's going down every year, so we don't know why, but
Everybody's busy, that's why.
That's true too. So yeah,
Anything for fire inspections?
fire inspections are still done. We are looking at starting them, in December, because otherwise we lose 2 months because of when they have to be due to the
For the
county for the tax roll. So, we're gonna go through, I'll start going through and, looking to see which ones we can start that have been 6 months or more, so we can start working on getting ahead of schedule. And there'll be still 2 times some inspections will be 2 times yet this year, so,
One question, how come the rapid response doesn't go up by itself anymore? Just doesn't work out
Most
that
of
way,
it,
or?
yeah, most of it, the only rapid response calls we have are like the CO calls. And, right now, it's not staffed all the time, and so everybody comes down, so we usually end up taking out the, engine too. So we can get the newer members that still have to go through class and everything, they can get trained on what's going on and what's happening and how to handle calls.
Cause I know that was a cheaper way to do things before, but,
Right,
you know, they need training, that's
Yep.
either do it here or do it there, right?
yep, do it and on scene, so,
I think part of it's that the call volume and when we're going out, times have changed about, staffing.
yeah,
So if we could have it staffed in the evenings or even during the day, and someone was available to take it out, that would get it used more. But as we know, our staffing model is changing, there's just not the number of people willing to do things during the day. We can blame it on the employer, but really, they gotta wanna agitate with, it's not really a good word, but they gotta really be able to have a good conversation with their employer about when their availability is if there's a problem. And they're not maybe willing to do that because, maybe it's their job and they don't feel that they can just get away, and we have people down at the station now to cover that. So, it's just the model that was 20, 15 years ago, it's not the model that's working today. I don't think, it doesn't feel like it, because we're not being able to keep that staffed all the time.
right. That also, 51 is used a lot during the day, if we don't have three members on a given day, they'll use 51 instead of taking the engine out. So it gets used during the day. I just don't mark it as a squad only call because it's a daytime call then. I just mark it as a daytime call. So it is getting used, it's just not reflected.
Alright, we have 2 action items, accepting donations and the Webster's grant.
Accepting donations, last month we had said that the check from Mr. Mashak was for $50 and it was actually $500. So we need to reapprove that for the right amount.
And that was not earmarked for anything,
No.
just an open donation.
Equipment, he wanted it for equipment.
What was his first name?
Dennis.
Dennis, thank you.
Dennis Mashup.
So yeah,
Okay, do we need a motion? No, but do we need a motion to cancel the last one? Alright,
I'll make a motion to approve the donation from, was it Dennis?
Dennis,
Dennis Mashak for $500 to the equipment fund.
thank you. Art? Seconded by Gary. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I
Opposed, same sign.
will publicly say thank you again for the donations.
and thank you has been sent out.
Webster's grant?
Webster's grant, we would like to,
Is there a second donation?
Do another donation?
These already have a second donation. Okay.
for the Webster's grant, the chiefs have decided they would like to go for a K-12 gas saw. We do have a K-12 battery saw, and after our training the other night, we found that it does not work real well, getting through layers and layers of shingles and, boards and stuff, so, they would like to apply for Webster's grant for the K-12 gas, so,
Would the grant cover the whole cost?
yes.
So you give, I don't know, how does the grant work? You write the grant to Webster's with that item on there
Yep.
with the cost, and then they reimburse for the full amount?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes.
Any questions? Take a motion to approve writing a grant to Webster's for K-12 gas saw, or applying for a grant.
I so move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Chief Glow?
Thank you. We've been pretty busy this last month. We were able to acquire a home, a vacant house on Washington Street here in the city. And, the owner is gonna be tearing it down and building something else in its place. But was kind enough to, hey, use this for training. And so the last training evening, we utilized the house, as basically a real emergency, and let the crews do search and rescue. We were cutting holes in the roof, so the engine company, ladder company, they were able to do their whatever tasks they were assigned to, and we were able to do 2 evolutions of that evening. So I think by being able to watch that and have the young firefighters, some of the officers be able to do size up and give direction to the young firefighters, I thought was a really good eye opener for the training officer and for the chiefs to see where we need to continue to work and improve on. But like I said, if you don't know where the needs are with the young guys, then you're not sure which direction to train in. So we got a pretty good plan moving forward as to what we need to do, and so it was a really good training evening. And then Captain Roy also was able to take a day crew down there to do some other evolutions through there before. I don't even know if they end up tearing it
I haven't
down
seen
yet.
it tore down.
Probably sometime this week, but so we were able to use it, a couple times for training. Those are the best, being able to get a house and actually go through and break open the door, cut holes. Young kids getting used chainsaw for the first time, laddering the building, breaching doors, doing search and rescue. We had the fog machine, and so we had it all fogged up like it would be with smoke. So it worked out really nice, and it was some good training. And then Heather and I have been spending a lot of time looking at the ISO requirements for equipment on the apparatus, and so we have a checklist. So we've been working on like inventory, going through the trucks to see where we're short, what equipment we can move on to at least our first and second response units. We looked at, we're working on hose to see where, the crews, the day crew did a great job getting all our hose tested. So we're trying to figure out where we're short on hose based on the ISO recommendation. So been working on that. And then Heather and I got together and we made a list of everything that we've been taking notes of on our boards here as to what we want to do in the future, what we want to plan for in the future, whether it's programs or training or whatever it is. And so we spent a couple days, 2-3 days doing that. And then we had last week we held our officer meeting, and we used all that information to do a planning night. So I may have mentioned this at last meeting, but I wanted to get a planning night with the officers as to how we want to move forward with 2025. That means adding on to our strategic plan on topics that we want to accomplish or finish accomplishing, and then any new ideas. So what we did was the chief officers met, and there was probably 36 or more topics. We picked what we thought were the top 10 most important, and then at that meeting, we took 5 of those topics and discussed it with the lieutenants and the captains, and then the move up officers, so that they all had a say in how to move forward or any of their thoughts or ideas. And then we'll be able to finalize those as chief officers moving forward for 2025. One of the nice things that came up was being able to plan ahead for like maintenance and preventative maintenance items and testing items. So Coop brought a nice calendar from where he works, and we have it set up, and so this is when we're gonna do hose testing, this is when we're gonna have trucks checked, this is when we're gonna do fit testing, flow testing, hose test, all that. So it'll be on a calendar moving forward. It's a good planning tool. And then the same with training. So I'm gonna get together with Captain Roy, and we're gonna put together a training schedule for next year. So again, it's more for the people that are planning, where they're not having to come in the night before or the day of, what are we gonna do for training? Should be already planned ahead, should have all the materials ready to go, and then we're also gonna have like a backup plan, whether it's weather or whatever happens, we're gonna do that and have a backup plan. So hopefully we'll, get that going for 2025, but I thought it was very productive. And, a lot of it, we brought up the topics, and then I just sat back, and the conversation and the thoughts and the ideas were fantastic. I really enjoyed listening to all the ideas that were thrown out there. I thought there was some good progress made on how to move forward and what we should be doing here in 25. So, and then we just been working on some of the chief engineer things, so that we can pick that person to start working with the driver operators and getting those trained. So I think we've made some good progress here in the last month.
Just a question on the house training. that you did. Knowing it doesn't come up often, how does trainings work? Is it optional, but you would really like everyone that can attend, knowing that it's not gonna come up often?
For like just the house training, we
Yeah.
did it on a regular training night, and they're only allowed to miss 2 training nights,
Okay.
unexcused training nights a year, so pretty much everybody's supposed to show up.
That's a good idea though, but we did talk about in the officers is that there's really no thought as to, okay, if you do miss training night, how do we make that up? Because, a lot of energy and thought and topics, obviously the most important, what we think we need to cover is being done, and if you miss, how do you make that up? So you've been working with, hey, this is gonna be the makeup day, this is what it's on, either have materials for them, have somebody that'll come down and teach it, whatever that looks like. So we are planning with that also, being able to have a makeup type training.
Also, I was wondering on this house burning, do you invite any other departments to come in and help with that?
Yes, that was a thought to at least call in Brandon, or
Marcus and or somebody.
Utica,
Because there aren't a lot of
whoever.
houses.
There's not. It was such short notice, and it was, we thought originally this house was like on the back burner to take down. And then before the training even happened, he was like, no, we gotta take this down by such and such a date. We literally had no time to contact anyone. So, but yes, it was definitely thought about to be able to have, 1 or 2 other fire departments coming in here.
Because, this long range is gonna be, we're gonna have to be working more together.
Totally.
So nobody can afford.
Exactly. Yep. I'm very big with Mavis. I'm very big on being able to work with the neighbors because,
Why not?
equipment and everything changes so much that, even if you just brought a truck into somebody's community, like, hey, we're gonna go over this, this is what we have, just kind of work together and being able to see how each other operates. Definitely. That's a great question, because that's definitely on the plan for 25 is to do, and I think it's part of the strategic plan is to be able to start working and training with our neighbors. So.
Any other questions for Chief Stone? So we're at Old Business Association check writing policies.
Yep, So, two of us sign the checks, right now, it's been that way ever since I've been, before I became president. And we are going to be implementing having two people every quarter go through and audit the checkbook. We'll start that in January, so they'll audit fourth quarter of, 2024, and then every quarter we'll, at a meeting, we'll pull two people and have them.
There's two people separate from the check signers.
Correct,
You're-
yep.
You're pulling
Yep.
them from the
Yes,
association.
yes, yep, yeah.
That's just for the
Association, yep.
PAA update?
I had a call for 35 minutes or so. Just talked about staffing issues that other municipalities are seeing, training issues, nothing real concrete on what they're gonna present to the city or nothing on what they would present to the board here, so it's more of a general.
I had a call and it was productive. I mean, I learned probably a little more than he learned. Only because, you know, people on our board are new. But he seemed to be well versed in the approach they're taking, so I would say that the consulting money is probably being spent appropriately. Not that the city cares about my opinion, yes, but.
I have no emails or calls.
I had an email, approximately 3 weeks ago, I don't know the exact date. It was, wanted to know if we wanted a phone call or face-to-face. I talked to the board, we decided we wanted a face-to-face. He gave me some days that they were available, and I sent them days and times that we were all available. That was, I believe, on the 20th. I haven't heard anything back from them.
I called and we'll email.
No, you got anything? Or do you already talk to them? I
I already talked to them weeks ago.
Right. I had internet, or I had email problems there, so I might have an email that I just never got. So. So you're gonna email them now. Can you ask them to email me? Okay. Alright, nothing for new business. Agenda items for future meetings, you guys had anything? Otherwise, there's policies, procedures, language for finance processes. Ellen's note is, could not finish these for tonight, so they'll be in the next meeting. Anything else anybody wanted to add?
You should have the PA guys, or probably have an update on that.
Yeah, PA, yeah.
See if everybody got contact.
Yep. I would take, I'll read the whole thing, don't I? I would take a motion to adjourn to closed session for 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Also 19.851G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved for discussion of a criminal complaint with the chief of police, Bill Wallner.
So moved.
You have to repeat that.
Have to repeat it.
By Mark.
What you said.
Is that a second by Gary?
Sure.
Mark and Gary. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned to closed session at 7:24 PM, December 3rd.